another reading for Goddess of Population. So, like, comment, subscribe. Oh my god. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Lauren and this is Lauren's Library, and today I'm here to film my July wrap-up. I couldn't remember what month we were in, but I didn't read as much as I thought I was going to read this month of July, but I think I read a good amount still. So the first book I read for the month of July is My Killer Vacation by Tessa Bailey. This book follows a girl named Taylor, and her brother have rented a Airbnb in Cape Cod just to get away for a weekend or a week or something like that. But on their arrival to the Airbnb, they smell a strange smell. They find a strange holes in the wall where it looks like someone built someplace where they could spy on whoever's in the bedroom or whatever, and soon after that they discover a dead body. So their vacation, relaxing vacation, is upended. They're moving somewhere else, a different Airbnb, and a private investigator named Miles is invited by the victim's mother to come and investigate his murder. And so our main character Taylor, she kind of takes it upon herself to insert herself into this murder mystery and try and help this private investigator solve the murder of the dead body that was found in their Airbnb. I gave this 3 stars out of 5. It was fun. I read it in one sitting on my way to South Carolina. The only thing, I just found the main character very irritating because she just thought she deserved to help solve this murder because she said she was like a expert through true crime podcast, and she was like, I deserve to help you. And then she would just like take stuff from the Airbnb, like after like the police and everything left, she would cross the, not picket line, but the caution tape, and go in there and just investigate herself, like with no authority, no rhyme or reason, and thought she could just go in there. And she was like, I have a right. I found the dead body. I have a right to solve his murder. Like, girl, no you don't. Go and enjoy your vacation with your brother. Like, it made no sense. But yeah, I gave this 3 stars. It was just a quick and fun, easy read. This is Tessa Bailey. I've read 2 other books by Tessa Bailey. One I enjoyed and one I didn't enjoy. But I enjoyed this one enough. I'll probably pick Tessa Bailey up again if it's just something quick and easy and I just want to read something fast. I'll probably pick her up again. That's all I have to say about this one. The next book I read is Other People's Houses by ABBI Waxman. And in this book we follow a woman named Frances who is in charge of her neighborhood's carpool. Like, she picks up all the kids on their street and drives them to school. The elementary, preschool, and middle school. I don't think they were high schoolers. No high schoolers. So we bounce between all the different households that there are carpool pickup. There is a carpool pickup at. Although Frances is our main character, I believe, but the story begins when Frances walks in on one of her neighbors having an affair on her husband. And she's kind of gets confronted by this neighbor and is like, can you keep this secret? And then obviously that secret gets out, and you just see the effect on the entire neighborhood, but also knowing everyone else's in that household's business, like Frances and her husband, and I forget the neighbor who is having an affair, but Anne, I think her name was Anne. And Anne and her husband, what's going on with them after the affair has been revealed and how that's affecting their children. And we have another couple who is like, one wants another child, but one is kind of focused on her career. It was a very interesting book, and kind of the mess that I like to read about, just like domestic messy mess. Like, and knowing everybody's little secrets and bouncing from house to house, I really enjoyed this one. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Next I read the Valentine's, I don't know what the like true title of this, I think it's Happy Girl Lucky, I think. But this is I think the series is called The Valentines. But this follows a girl named Faye. No, her name was, what was her name? Oh, I was right. Okay, so yeah, the girl, her name is Hope, and she has two other sisters named Faith and Mercy, and an older brother that I do not remember his name at all. But this book follows Hope, and the other two books I've already bought are Faith and Mercy's books, I believe. But these girls are the offspring of a very famous actor and a very famous director. And it's kind of just their lives as being celebrities' children, and they have like this rule where you can't go become a celebrity or be in the limelight until you turn 16. So Hope, our main character, is the youngest in the family, and so she wants to break out and be her own person and be this celebrity. And she kind of has these like scripts in her head of how she like wants to find her love interest, but her parents and her grandmother and her siblings are like covering her up when they go out in public. And but she ends up she's kind of oblivious to everything that's going on around her. She's kind of in her own little world. And we know that there's some serious stuff going on with her mother, but we don't really see what's going on with her dad until she ends up running away, and because her dad is in LA, but they live in the UK in London. So she goes to her dad's house, but it's all due to because she met this boy. I'm all over the place with this book, but she met this boy in London while she snuck out to go to like this party that they were her mom's premiere for her movie, and she sneaks out, but she gets found out and she ends up leaving, and she runs into this boy from the United States on the tube, they call it in London. And so while after she meets him, they kind of start this relationship where he's in London visiting. So but when he obviously has to go back home, she's upset. She thinks that they're in a relationship. Well, they kind of are. It's kind of confusing because we're seeing everything from her perspective, and she's kind of an optimist. And so when she goes to LA, she has kind of ulterior motives. She's going to kind of like get her dad's perspective on what's going on with her and her dad, her parents' relationship, but she's also going to go meet up with that boy that she met in London. But it's kind of following this girl's delusions and seeing why she has these delusions and her messed up family and everything that's going on. It was just a quick read. I also read it on the way back from South Carolina. I read it in one sitting, and it was just kind of fun. It's kind of on the younger side of YA, just if you wanted to pick it up. So yeah, I give this 3 stars. The next book I read was a reread, and that was Red, Riding Royal Blue by KATEE. If you don't know, and if you've been living under a rock, Red, Riding Royal Blue is about the first son of the United States and the Prince of Wales. I think that's his title. But he's a royal over there in the UK. Yeah, Prince of Wales, it's right here. And so they kind of have this beef, for lack of better words, but they don't get along well. So there's this incident at the Prince of Wales brothers' wedding where they end up knocking over this cake, and their PR teams are kind of like, we have to kind of resolve this, show the world that y'all are getting along, y'all are best friends. So they kind of start this friendship, fake friendship, that turns into a real friendship that turns into a relationship. But it was fun. It was a reread. I gave it 5 stars when I read it previously, and I gave it 5 stars again this time again. I was just kind of, I was driving to Mississippi to go to South Carolina, and I just put on the audiobook because I didn't have any other audiobook to read at that time. And I was like, why not? Because the movie's coming out next month. So yeah, 5 out of 5 stars. The next book I read was Neon Gods by Katie Roberts. This book, I don't know how I'm going to describe this, but this book is kind of Olympus. Like, they're in this world called Olympus, but it's not like the Olympics of Greek gods. It's kind of like a like the main three gods, Zeus, Hades, and Poseidon. They're kind of a legacy position and so Zeus is the head of this world, and Hades runs like the lower realm. And they don't really talk about Poseidon, but I guess he rules up there with Zeus. But like once one dies, their son becomes the new Zeus. And the other gods, Apollo, Artemis, Dionysus, Hermes, they're kind of like you get hired for the role. And so we follow Persephone, and her mom is Demeter, and her mom has arranged a marriage between her and Zeus, and she's kind of afraid for that to happen because Zeus is notorious for being a bad guy. There's rumors that he killed his last Hera, and so she's like, I don't want to marry him. So after the announcement, because her mom completely catches her off guard at this party, and she's like, oh, come here, and then it's announced that she's engaged to marry Zeus. And so after the party, or like during the party, she runs out, and while she's walking around like trying to calm down, collect her thoughts, she notices she's being followed. And so when she notices that, she takes off running, and she ends up crossing the bridge into Hades' realm. And so Hades kind of takes her in, and he's like, I'm going to protect you, but we have to show Zeus to like resolve your issues back, because she's waiting for her trust fund to kick in so she can leave Olympus. But her and Hades come up with this plan of like them tricking Zeus into thinking they're together in order for Zeus to no longer be interested in her. So yeah, I gave this 3 stars. It was okay. I'm not sure if I want to continue the series, because I think there are like 3 other books. I'm not sure. I just threw a number out there. I'm not sure, but I know there are other books in this series, but I don't think they follow Persephone. I think they're following other Greek myths that have been modernized in this world. But yeah, I gave this 3 stars. I'm not sure 100%. If I come across it, I'll maybe pick it up, but it's not on my radar as of now. And the last book I read this month is Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo. This book has been sitting on my shelves for so long, and that's because I knew it was about death and grief. And when you have a book written about death, you have to trick me into reading it. Like, I can't know that's what the book is about because I'm not going to want to read it. So I ended up picking this up because her new book is coming out next month, and I wanted to be caught up on all her previous books. So I read The Poet X, and I've read the one about the food. What's it called? I can't think of it. It's bothering me. The book where the girl, I can see it. That is not what that book is called. What? With the Fire on High. Yes, I read those 2 books, and so I wanted to be caught up on her backlog. So I was like, let me just go ahead and truck through it. But it wasn't too bad. I teared up a couple of times. But this book is about 2 girls, one in the Dominican Republic. I'm sorry, let me stop messing with my eye. 2 girls that they don't know they're sisters yet. One is in the Dominican Republic and one is in New York City. The girl in the Dominican Republic, her name is Camino? Yes. And the girl in New York City is Yahaira. So Camino goes to the airport because her father is coming into town for her birthday. He comes every summer and spends time with her in the Dominican Republic before he flies back to New York City. But when she gets to the airport, there is news of a plane crash. Now, that's something I learned in this book. There was a plane, apparently there was, I've never heard this story. Let me know in the comments if you have. I was in kindergarten after 9/11, but after 9/11, 2 months after exactly, there was a plane crash from New York City to on its way to the Dominican Republic that they didn't know if it was another terrorist attack since it was so close to 9/11. But once it was determined that it wasn't another terrorist attack and just like a malfunction in the airplane or whatever, like it stopped being talked about as much. And I had no idea, but Camino is at the airport to pick up her father from the airport, and she hears the news of the plane crash, and she's kind of in disbelief. And we bounce back and forth to Yahaira and her. They know that Yahaira knows her dad is on his way to the Dominican Republic, but she doesn't know for what reason. She knows that he goes there for work every year, and that's kind of her only like knowledge of it. But we're just dealing with them separately at the beginning of this book on how they're dealing with the death of their father and not knowing that they have a sister in these different places. And we come to find out that Yahaira does know that her father was also married to another woman, but he married her mom first. So her mom, Yahaira's mom, is the only one that's legally married to him, but she didn't know that she had a sister there. And we're kind of they're the only thing. I feel like I'm mumbling. So yeah. Whew. Okay, so they're dealing with the grief. So Camino her mother has already passed when she was a lot younger, so she's lost both parents. So she's living with her aunt and in the Dominican Republic. And Yahaira knows, as I said previously, that her father has married someone else in the Dominican Republic, and she hasn't spoken to him since a year since she discovered his marriage license to this other woman. So she's dealing with regret and grief at the same time. And then we also, when they come together, it's kind of this competition between the two, and they're like, oh, she does this, should I tell her that I'm better than her with this? And it's their battling relationship on how they move forward after their father's death. And for Camino, I thought it was really interesting because she was like, the only person I have left in this world that's related to me after her father's death is her aunt, because she's lost both parents. And so when she discovers she has a sister, that her coming to terms with that was also very interesting to read. So Elizabeth Acevedo does it again. I don't know if my thoughts about this book came off clear or if it was just a jumbled mess, but I gave this 5 out of 5 stars, and I will continue to read from Elizabeth Acevedo. She is, and at this point forward, would always be a auto buy. So that's everything I read in the month of July. I hope you enjoyed. What did you read this month, and what did you read this month that you didn't like? I didn't read, there wasn't anything. Oh my gosh, I completely just erased that book out of my mind. Quickly, I also read this month Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber, and I gave that 2 stars. If you want to hear my full thoughts on that book, that was my latest Judge a Book by Its Cover reading vlog, and I'll link that somewhere on the screen or down below. But that was the only book I read this month that I just could not stand, couldn't wait to be finished with. Was almost a DNF. But let me know down below, what did you read this month that you enjoyed, and what did you read this month that you did not enjoy so much? I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye!